Hey Doobs, how we doing? Welcome to a fantastic episode of the DoobiSode series where we're finally catching up. I know it's been a whole month since I previewed the PlayStation 5, getting ready for that, so I figured we'd finally come back, catch up. There's just been so much to play recently with Cyberpunk, been trying to catch up on launch titles. Like more Demon Souls, been playing Sackboy, and you've been catching up on the stream, so thank you so much and bearing with me and catching up. And we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today, maybe some not so fun stuff, but really just wanted to share the gaming passion with you all. And thank you so much for joining. If you can, please make sure to like, share, subscribe to the Duber Radical Gaming channel. And yeah, let's just get right into it here, as I don't want to waste up too much of your time. I want to get right into the content. So with the DoobiSodes, we like to start off the week taking a break with our fingers and just need to sit down, watch a movie, relax, and really just enjoy the medium as a whole. So me personally, I'm a huge fan of stellar animation and really well told stories, along with maybe a bit of nostalgic little bits and touches. And who better to do that than honestly Disney? I know they've kind of fallen maybe a little bit from grace and just made some questionable decisions here, but recently I was just watching Moana, and I'm sorry, wrong button here. Moana is the movie of the week. Just what a fun sit down movie with of course an inspiring soundtrack, with a great cast, along with The Rock, who really has come out of his own as an actor. But the whole cast is phenomenal. Disney really does a good job of casting and making sure that it's very authentic to the culture and the setting of the whole piece. But really, the water and the island and all these characters are just so beautifully animated, wovenly together. It still really holds up to this day. I think this movie came out already in 2017, I believe, a couple years ago, but still very stands tall. Is a great soundtrack centerpiece. And Disney, all the movies kind of have a similar theme with finding yourself and the importance of family and redemption and all those little bits and pieces. But that's okay. We all really need those stories to keep us going, especially now in times of trying and uncertainty. So it's good to escape, and Disney provides a beautiful escape, really, with all their with their animated movies. And I know I've talked about Toy Story and Pixar and all that stuff too, but it's all in the same realm here. So I really do have to just give a huge shout out to Moana and its beautifully articulated characters with a great centerpiece of theme of strong bearingness of family and just a bunch of fun characters, and of course that charm driven throughout the way. So just full disclosure, we're not playing Cyberpunk 2077. This is the DoobiSode. We will talk about Cyberpunk a little bit, but this is more of the podcast on the weekly DoobiSode here. Moana, if you haven't checked it out yet, I know it's kind of easy for some of these Disney maybe for some of you, some of these Disney movies to slip through the cracks a little bit when you're waiting for maybe the ones you're really more excited for, maybe the next Toy Story. And there is actually a new Toy Story Buzz Lightyear movie with Chris Evans taking the role, not Tim Allen. A little bit of sad on that one, but that's okay. Still very excited to see, is up to par as best animation as can get with a studio with a lot of money and a lot of talent. And that's what we thought we might have seen with Cyberpunk 27, but we'll talk in a little bit about that a little bit later. We're gonna get more into the gaming news. Some of this is a little bit old. This news actually is a little bit older now. I'm gonna be talking about Bioware and the incredible quick departure of I almost said Casey Neistat, Casey Hudson, who has been with the company for over 20, maybe close to 30 years. So this is a picture here of Casey Hudson, and also Mark Dara has also surprisingly just up and left Bioware. These are two of the most important, the original group of people that really made Bioware special. And so I just had to highlight this news because it is a little worrying and troublesome. If you've been following Bioware, you know what they're up to. They're working on Dragon Age 4. We got a really awesome trailer at the Game Awards. We've gotten some tidbits of news before that, and all seemed well in glory since Casey Hudson was sticking around. Mark Dara, he's really the guy that brought Anthem to a full release with maybe a clear vision. That game was just horribly botched, tumbling mess of insanity, and it is better now. Of course, these games do eventually get better and they get patched, but at what cost? And too little, too late, dollar day, dollar short, all that stuff. It's just a little sad to see these really creative teams kind of fall from grace and not really have a clear vision. I think that's really the huge thing with Bioware. So Casey Hudson and Mark Dara have both just up and left Bioware, and they did make a statement. I was going to show this now. I don't have the statement, but really Casey Hudson had a statement saying he just wanted to make way for the future leadership of the company, of the studio. He was there for over 20 years. And he, and they keep saying the same thing, especially with Bioware, when these really talented, creative, trustworthy people leave the studio. It's just a little bit of a head scratcher when they're leaving mid-development of a huge, supposedly bounce-back quadruple A development title, and they're just leaving. Casey Hudson and Mark Dara, they were pretty much the last glue to hold Bioware together. So I'm just not sure how Dragon Age is going to turn up, how Starfield or these other titles that we're still waiting on are really going to turn up. It's really hard to say the future of Bioware and the uncertainty with that company, and I really hope that one of these times when they say the game is left in good hands, that it is actually left in good hands. Honestly, at this point, chances are 2 out of 10 that is left in good hands. I don't think they'd be leaving mid-development if there wasn't something wrong behind the scenes of Bioware. We've kind of been seeing that and hearing that for a long time with not only Bioware, but even games like even Cyberpunk, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. That's a little bit of a different story, but same thing with Anthem, and that we heard the same thing kind of with not really so much with Avengers, but I think that story is still kind of the same in development there, when all these games just kind of come out not so polished and lackluster and a lot of questionable things missing. And we'll kind of reflect that when we talk about Cyberpunk here in a little bit, but it's really interesting and sad and bewildering and a little bit frustrating to see that Casey Hudson, the last nail, the last glue to hold Bioware together, is leaving. So I guess we'll see where Dragon Age 4, how that game releases. We have no idea when. This game is probably still 3 years out. Who knows what's going on with Star Citizen or Starfield, or Starfield, I believe is what it's called. But it's just kind of, I think I'm seeing a trend here where people are leaving studios like EA, especially EA, or recently with Bioware. I think all these people are going to companies that really do care and matter about their games. Companies like Capcom and I want to say CD Projekt Red. I know they do care, but Capcom or Nintendo, yeah, sure, maybe they make somewhat questionable decisions, but these developers want to go to games that matter and that really make an impact on the gaming community in the gaming generation, and really create something special. And Dragon Age and Bioware used to be that. It's just not really, at least for me, doesn't feel like they're giving off that same aura that they used to, or that same specialness. I love getting lost in a 100-hour RPG. I still have very fond memories of booting up the first Mass Effect on my launch Xbox 360 and just being amazed, staying up all night eating oatmeal grandma cookies. It's amazing, and I just really haven't gotten that. I tried Inquisition. I know that game was still very good. I actually kind of like, very unpopular opinion, but I really like Dragon Age 2. A lot of the bundle. I know that's kind of when the problems started to happen, and Inquisition kind of brought it back, but I still don't feel that same epicness and that same loving, caring feeling that I did for when I played Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, start to finish. Loved every bit of it. Even I just dropped my thingy-mabob there, but yeah, it just doesn't really bring back those memories that once had there. So I really hope it's okay. We're gonna move on here, but Casey Hudson, Mark Dara has left Bioware. Who knows where Dragon Age and Starfield is at this point, and why they've left. There's things going on under the hood there that we might not know about for a while, that we might not ever know about the true story. But that's okay. We're gonna move on to some other interesting gaming news just to keep up the weekly going here. I should say the monthly right now, but that's Casey Hudson. He is a beautiful gentleman, by the way. Very cool, very relaxed, very calming guy when he talks. But I hope he's doing okay, regardless. So yeah, let's just talk about Nintendo. And you might have heard this is also a little bit of an old news story, but Nintendo is just too damn genuine, and they love to distance themselves when it's not an official Nintendo release, or they don't have the official seal of approval on the packaging that maybe you remember back on the GameCube days. I think they still do that on their packaging. They kind of have the Nintendo approval golden sticker on it that kind of makes it feel along the lines like Disney, and it's got to be official and licensed product and all that. But so I'm just going to bring up this little statement here. This is from Big House Studios. They hold one of the biggest Super Smash Brothers gaming competitions throughout the whole year, and of course everything is distanced and socially safe now, so we can't really get together and play games anymore. And Big House was going to turn their Super Smash Brothers Melee tournament again on GameCube back when there wasn't online. They were going to make Melee an online event, still hold the event in these times of uncertainty when we really do need things to have fun with and sit down. And who doesn't love to get together with a bunch of friends, even virtually, and talk and chat and just show what they got in one of the greatest combative fighters that is still played to this day in 2001. And that's what developers want at the end of the day, is for people to play their game forever. And of course, Nintendo just has to set their foot down and close this event. I'm sorry that the statement here is kind of small on the screen, so I'm gonna just kind of reiterate it to you. But yeah, the Big House is heartbroken to share that they've received a cease and desist letter from Nintendo to shut down their tournament because it's using a Slippy mod. It's using unlicensed hardware. It's using a mod created by the fans to make Smash Brothers Melee possible to play online. And Nintendo is just shutting it down because it's not their product. And it's really up to Nintendo. And yes, they have to say into what happens with their product and how people play their product, especially on an unlicensed Slippy mod is what it's called. And I think it's called Slippy because Slippy the Toad from Star Fox. I'm not sure if there's any connection there, but I really hope so. But anyway, yeah, they just kind of it just kind of mentions that they're forced to stop this whole Super Smash Brothers Melee event that happens every year. And of course we can play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and the Wii U version 4 online, but with the netcode, and everybody loves Melee and they want to hold on to the game they've been playing for so long and their friends. And I've been seeing Nintendo do this for years. They even just closed down a charity event with custom controllers. Someone was making, yes, still a somewhat questionable choice of using their art and slapping them on controllers, but they were donating all that money to charity, and Nintendo wanted to close that down as well. And I think they're kind of in the works to maybe getting that charity event somewhat going right now. But I've been seeing this stuff from Nintendo all the time, and we only really get a couple huge games from Nintendo a year, and they're just very hard they're just different to work with their technology. It was kind of a turnoff for developers to work with the Wii at first, and then the Wii U came, and of course now we have the beautiful Switch, which is still selling off shelves and still relatively hard to find. And I think we really do need a next-gen version soon. It's Nintendo's falling a little bit behind, especially in the graphic department. With these games, it's kind of time to get some sort of a Switch Pro or a next generation Switch. But I digress here. Really, the issue here is Nintendo needs to just loosen up a little bit. It's like the super tight boss that just needs to have a drink at the end of the day and maybe, let some things slide for the greater good of the world. Sometimes you have to let go, take a deep breath, and undo those pants, Nintendo. Gotta undo those pants. Let people play your game from 2001. You know how many games that get played 20 years down the line at a relatively huge successful rate? Yeah, below 5% probably. So yeah, Nintendo, undo those pants. Check it out. But yeah, so that's just what I wanted to say a little bit about Nintendo, and so that's really the biggest, the news I really want to talk about for a little bit. But more recently, let's get into something more recent, the huge release of Cyberpunk 2077. I keep wanting to say 2007. We have been waiting this game since its announcement in 2012. CD Projekt Red, not even, Witcher 3 wasn't even released at this point. I think Witcher 2 was just coming out, which I loved, and Witcher 2 and 3. So let's get right into the nitty gritty. If you've been following the news, Cyberpunk 2077 has not released in the greatest shape, and this is kind of a hard statement because it's very different depending on what you play. This is I'm just gonna say it. This is a fantastic, detailed, story-driven, truly seemingly wanting to be polished. There's a yearning here. There's a want. I keep wanting to grab all these amazing words to describe this game, but it is kind of hard to say that and to kind of hold back from really saying these amazing things because there is a lot of technical difficulties. If you're playing specifically on base PS4 and Xbox One, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. So this is actually the statement that CD Projekt released, and this is all the bigwigs that kind of had something to say. So they kind of just start off by apologizing, by not really checking they're really talking about the PS4 and the Xbox One, the base or launch consoles here. If you're playing on PS5, the Pro or the Series X or the Xbox One X, you're gonna be okay. I've been playing on the PS5. I've actually been having a very great time. Yes, I've had crashes. My personal experiences will be detailed in my final thoughts, but me personally, I think it's a playable game. I just really feel for these people that are having a rough time because I do see these areas of trouble where it can be really frustrating, where you're truly immersed in this game and you suffer a crash or a really big bug, and I haven't even witnessed the worst of them. We've seen a couple patches, but if you were trying to review this game, this is why CD Projekt Red released their DMCA talking, restricting footage of the game because they didn't want to show all the nasty footage that people would have found out about this game when it released. So it's just kind of clumsy to me that we trusted CD Projekt Red for so long. They really made Witcher 3 amazing with amazing DLC and really have supported their games over the years. So they have said a couple things as to why this game kind of launched the way it did. Is they didn't really focus on last generation. It seemed like this game did morph into a next generation PC game. They said realistically they could have just released this game on PC and called it a day for a while, and we will get true next gen upgrades next year. But it's just the waiting game again, and I keep hearing talks of should have they delayed the game again. They should have, they shouldn't have, but it just gets really complicated when you keep going back on your word, and maybe that was a red flag when it kept getting delayed. I understand delays, and I'm all about a delayed game being good forever and a bad game being bad forever and a not delayed game, but maybe they could have done something here. It's just a little bit ugly. So if you can't really do, maybe wait to check out the game in a couple months. It looks like we do have some big patches coming in from CD Projekt Red. I'm sure they're desperately and tirelessly working on it right now as we speak, as a recording of this video. But there is something truly special here, and I really do got to recommend it when you find it on sale or when the game is clear, when you hear that it's all good to go. There is a huge world to explore with a lot of stories, a lot of great voice acting, and just a lot of heart, really. And you can tell that there was lot of thought put into this game. This isn't this isn't just Shaq Fu. This isn't Shaq Fu here. I love my Shaq. I love my Shaquille. But this isn't Shaq Fu. This is a fully realized world with just a couple technical flaws that just need to be ironed out in an otherwise fully realized, detailed world from CD Projekt Red. So we'll see what we get going on there. But I just really did want to mention some of my thoughts on going into Cyberpunk. I'm having a great time. Yes, I'm experiencing some of those bugs. Are they ruining the game for me? Not necessarily. I try to let those things go, but I can see where if you're playing on base PS4 and Xbox, and you're getting, pop in every 5 seconds, just a lot of nasty stuff like that. But yeah, so that's enough for the bad news. I really did just want to also, before we close out today's DoobiSode and catch up, I really did just want to celebrate the 1 month anniversary of the PlayStation 5 and just kind of give my general thoughts of how I've been feeling in my experience with the console so far. I was fortunate to get one day one from my local GameStop. Really, if you're trying to get a console currently, the best way to get one is to have an in or keep contacting your GameStop. Best Buy, it's harder to do it with the bigger retailer. Hey, Riley, thanks for joining, man. The bigger the retailer you get, it's harder to get these consoles. So I'd say, it'd go GameStop, Walmart, then Best Buy. Then Amazon's probably the hardest way to get one. People are just refreshing the mess out of those pages. But yeah, I've been having a great time with my PlayStation 5. Good luck. If I keep posting on the page, if you are trying to get one, I do give updates when there are restocks, and apparently there have been restocks today. So just keep refreshing. But overall, how was the PlayStation for me? The PlayStation 5. In 2 words, love it. It truly has delivered. It has re-inspired some love for gaming for me, personally. I wasn't really sure. I wasn't really sure what to expect going in. I knew we were getting Demon Souls. I knew we were getting Spider-Man, Miles Morales, but there was just some great launch titles, like one of the better launch titles in history, and I guess according to Sony and all that, it's the biggest launch console in history. It's sold the most units over anything ever in the launch history of a console, so that's good news. But we saw that with Cyberpunk, and there was some issues there. They already made their profit back in 1 day in Cyberpunk. They had 8 million pre-orders, and they made all their profit back in a day. And I guess they did lose a lot of money on some returns, and that's more in the Cyberpunk thing. There's been a huge fiasco with returns and people trying to return Cyberpunk. They're just that, man. People are going to try to turn their games digitally. That's why I like to buy games physically. There's easier transactions when you need to do something with the game. When it's online, you're just buying the right to play the game digitally. You're not really buying the game yourself for you. You're buying the right to play the game. But when you buy the game physically, you do actually own it, and you can lend it to a friend, or you can trade it in, which is how I do my games. I wouldn't be able to afford all the stuff I have without trading in games. The GameStop system does work. People just complain too much and they don't use it the right way. Anyway, I'm digressing. Cyberpunk is in a mess. There's a lot of people trying to get returns, but that is very hard when you buy a game digitally. So that's why I'm always going to be a physical. But back to the PlayStation 5 here. Really, I didn't know if PlayStation Now was going to be working, but then we saw some features that PlayStation and Sony were announcing for PlayStation 5, like the PlayStation Collection, where you could play 20 games right off the bat, free of charge. As long as you had PS Plus, you get your free games right now. We have Rocket Arena, Just Cause 4, Worms Rumble Arena, and Bug Snacks. Looks interesting. It's kind of a Pokemon-like experience. So Sony really did make sure you had content to play, but was it going to play well? Yeah. I'd say I had a very buttery smooth experience of Demon Souls on the PS5. Same thing with Spider-Man Miles Morales, and they actually just updated that game so you can play 4K 60 FPS, and it looks amazing. I mean, these games look incredible, and I really am starting to see this true next generation upgrade even at launch, and this is only making me more excited to what we're going to be getting in the future with games we've seen more of, like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and Returnal. We saw at the Game Awards, and again, the Game Awards for me, if you were watching, was a little hard to sit through, but I really do want to give a huge shout out to Jeff Keighley for bringing that whole experience together. And really, the Philharmonic Orchestra was amazing, and seeing all the people, and specifically the voice actors, talk about their challenges and stuff, especially Laura Bailey. Was amazing. But again, I digress. This is just the very cool culmination of everything, and not just the PlayStation 5. This is a next-gen anniversary. I really do want to give a huge shout-out to the Xbox Series X and everything Phil Spencer and team has done for that console, and I was kind of excited to see that Halo, though. But again, a delayed game will always be good, and a not delayed game will forever be bad. Something like that. Shigeru Miyamoto said that. But yeah, so I'm just having a great time with my PlayStation. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition is awesome. Getting these free upgrades, really excited to see that free upgrade for Cyberpunk. Seeing the free upgrade for games like Sackboy, Big Adventure is just very nice to see that they actually did provide a very smooth next-gen experience if you were going from your PS4 to PS5. And I actually ended up selling my PlayStation 4 because my PlayStation 5 really was doing everything I needed it to do. There's only like 6 games that you can't play on PlayStation 5. Otherwise, I'm still playing Dragon Ball FighterZ online. I could still hop into Fall Guys. And I'm getting really used to the interface and really all of the small upgrades that don't seem big at first, but really do add up over a long time. Kind of like sharing and saving game videos. There's just a lot going on within the system that really do make it feel like a truly next-gen experience, especially the dual. This little sexy piece of technology, the DualSense. I really am wondering if they're going to come out with a DualShock 5, but the DualSense is an amazing start to introducing haptic feedback as kind of the buzzwords right now. So yeah, I'm just having a great time. I'm not really disappointed at all, really. I had a smooth transition to next gen, and I do really feel for the people that did not get that experience where they had busted PlayStation 5s. They were shutting down. There was a lot of issues with these consoles, and really at the end of the day, it is kind of if you just got lucky with a non-defunct console. So ultimately, I had a very good experience so far. Still got my fingers crossed. You never know when something might give on you, but right now I'm really enjoying myself, and really recommend the console if you're willing to shell out the money and you're really excited to play just Demon's Souls specifically. That's really the only game you can play on PlayStation 5. Everything else you can wait for. It's a waiting experience. But yeah, dudes, I don't want to take up any more of your time. This is about the time of a Digimon episode, so I'm going to let you get back on here with your day. I really just wanted to sit down, catch up, have a DoobiSode. These are a lot of fun to just share the weekly or the monthly news in this case. It is a lot of fun. And yeah, let me know if you got a next-gen console. Let me know if you've been playing Cyberpunk and have been facing any technical issues there. If you're enjoying the game, I am personally enjoying the game. Playing on PlayStation 5, it is a little bit of a smoother experience. Yeah, but let me know if you're excited for Dragon Age 4 or even Starfield. I have no idea what's going on with that game. Haven't really looked at it a whole lot in a long time. But yeah, in the Nintendo thing is just a sad deal. So yeah, thank you so much, Doobs. If you can, please make sure to like, share, subscribe to Doob Radical Gaming if you can. We do plenty of live streams. We have late night streams. We do day streams, launch videos, video game reviews. We're really adding content and a couple of Digimon card box openers here and there as well. So thank you so much, Doobs. Not going to take up any more time. And as always, we'll be right back.